Welcome to this real-time tutorial on my YouTube channel. In this tutorial we will draw with graphite pencils realistic mane of a horse. First we will erase a little bit the hard lines we put on with the sketch. I use a normal eraser like you see. And when we finish with erasing, we take an H pencil, just a normal H pencil, and we will put on the first layer of the mane. A portrait is putting out of different layers, and I'm working from light till dark. You are drawing a lot of different hair. Not too much, and you have to be soft and gentle with your paper. This horse have really a wild mane in top of the head, so it's going all kind of direction on top. But in this area we just draw carefully some hair, and you will have to draw long hair, not short hair, because it is a long mane. And don't push too hard. Never push too hard when you draw something, because how harder the line is, how less realistic it is, and how more difficult it is to erase it when it's wrong. So you are just soft and kindly touching the paper with your pencil. And you will think, oh, this is a waste of my time, but it isn't, because it is very important to put on a basic layer, especially with a light horse. This is a white horse we are using, so it is very important to put on the first layer, because otherwise you will have empty spaces where you will draw later. So what I said, just be softly and gentle. And now we put also the first layer on top of the front mane of the horse. And we are continuing with putting some soft stripes of the hair. Like you see, I am using my pencil, not a point, but a little bit the thick area of my pencil, so I will not putting too much press, not too hard, and I'm using only my point of my pencil with details and in the last zone, the last area of a portrait. And it's also very important to not draw only between the lines, but also a little bit outside of the lines. This horse have some hair in top of the head, in front of the eyes, and in front of the ear. So we will also draw it like that. Because if you're drawing only inside the lines, then it will be not realistic. And we want to create a realistic drawing. So that's why we also draw some wild hair that's going outside the lines. And when we finish the first layer, we take a tissue, a paper tissue, or a soft paper, and we will blend a little bit the first layer. Not push too hard, not blend too much, because then it will be one gray area, and we don't want it. We just blend a little bit, because then you fill everything on the paper a little bit, and it will be more nice in the end result. And you want to see the structure, so don't blend too much. Now we are taking an HB pencil, and we will put on the second layer. and it's almost a little bit the same like we put on the first layer. We draw some hair, and everything have to go into the right direction, so you have to check really good your reference picture, or you check good how I'm doing. And with creating mane, we are not drawing every single hair, but we are making some shadow between the hair. And of course we draw also a lot of hair, a lot of mane, but you are playing with shadow, and with creating and playing with shadow you will create the mane, the hair, and the realistic view you want to create. So you are just playing with shadow, and we are building it up with layers. And always check good which direction the hairs are going, so you can draw it. In this area where we are drawing now, there is a lot of wild mane. So I first draw the mane who is in the back, and later we will create the mane who are in top, because then we will create some 3 dimension in the painting, in the drawing. And we will doing this with all the whole mane in the horse. And like you see already, there is coming more depth. Now we take again the paper tissue and we just put on some little blending, not too much. Don't press too hard, because otherwise it will be one gray area and we don't want that. And if we finish with the little blending, we are taking the 0.5 pencil, the 2B, and we will filling up the shadow, the darker area, with this pencil. It is a pen pencil, and I'm working normally from 0.3 till 0.5 with this, because you can really draw some fine details and you don't have to sharpen your points, because the pencils, the fillings of this pencil are already small and sharp. So we are still continuing, like we are putting also the first and the second layer. Now we're putting on the third layer, and we draw some darker shadow. Like you see, you really have to draw into the good direction, because if you are not drawing into the good direction, you will seeing it in your end result, and that is just a waste. So you will just create some more shadow in the main. And then we will take some paper feather and we will blend also a little bit, not too much, only a little bit, the harder lines we put on. And with this area I'm using a paper feather because the paper tissue will be too thick and I really want to blend a few details. And after that we take the 8B pencil for the extra dark highlight in the shadow. So we are putting again, coloring up the shadow, the darker area in the main. And we are almost doing the same like the layer before, only now on less area, because not everything is that dark. So just check good where the shadows are, where you want to draw some darker area, and just draw it into the good direction. And because the horse is a white horse, have white mane, we are also taking a eraser pencil. And then we can just a little bit erase, a little bit make white lines in the hair in the mane. That's why we also blend before, because of blending you will create a light gray area. And with now erasing with the pencil eraser, you can just create some white tiny hair, and then you can create a white mane in the portrait. And if we didn't blend, then you can erase, but you will not seeing the white lines of your eraser. So it's just drawing like this. It's playing with shadow, playing with hard and with soft pencils, and a little bit with the eraser. And we take again the paper tissue and we blend a little bit, so the stripes you put with your eraser will be not that sharp. And if you're blending now a little bit, then it will be more a realistic view in the end result, but not too much. Like you see, I'm just wiping a little bit. I'm almost not touching the paper. And after that, I am taking my 0.3 pen pencil HB, and I will put on some small lines in the main. With this 0.3 millimeter, we can add some really fine lines, and we just draw some really fine lines in the main. Don't push too hard with this pencil, because if you're pushing too hard, the point will break very easily, and we don't want that. And if you are also pushing too hard, the result will also be not that nice. So that's why we are not pushing too hard. And just draw mane, not too much, but just some hair, some mane you want to see into the drawing. After we take again the 0.52B pen pencil, and we will add some few darker hair in top of the mane we just draw with the 0.3 millimeter pencil. Just some fine details and lines. And we will take the eraser pencil again to add some white hair in what we just draw. So we just erase some hair, so we create some white lines, white hair in the mane in this area. And maybe you think that it is a double work, But if you are skipping some of these layers, then the result will be not that nice if as you want. So you're just build your portrait up in layers. And with the eraser pencil, it is difficult to sharpening the points, so that's why I'm turning a lot my pencil, so my point will be more sharp all the time, and I don't have to sharpening it with a little knife. And after we will blend again a little bit, so you just fade away a little bit the sharpening of the eraser stripes, really just a little bit. So it will be a little more soft, and then we take again the 0.5 millimeter 2B pen pencil, and we will continuing with the mane on top of the head of the horse. And also here it is really the same. We are just creating some shadow. In this area it's really wild, so it is a little bit difficult to put on really all the hair and to make it photorealistic. So you just have to check good where you want to put your lines, your shadow and your hair. And we first draw the under layer of the mane, and later we will put on the hair who are in top of the under layer. And like you see, we also create some hair in the body, in the neck of the horse. So just playing with the shadow with the pencils and creating with drawing the shadow the hair in the mane. And when we finish with this pencil, we are taking the 8B again, and we will darkening up everything a little bit. Also, like we are doing in the first part of the mane, we are also doing here in the second part of the mane. And we just draw some shadow under the hair. And like you're seeing, there's now already coming some more depth, and it will come out more of the paper. And it will look more realistic. So continuing with playing with the shadows. And we will take the eraser pencil again to put on some really nice white hair in top of what we draw already. And we can also put on some hair in who is popping out, and like you see, I am just not following the lines anymore, because the hair is wild in this area, so you can just draw also some hair who is jumping out, is going to really the different direction. And it's nice when you don't push too hard, you can just erase what you draw, and then it looks like you just draw some white hair. And then we are taking again the paper tissue, and we just blend a little bit, so we uh, putting away the sharp effect of the eraser. Sharp lines, not too much, just a little bit. And after that we are taking the 0.3 HB pen pencil, and we will drawing some really fine lines, fine hair, like we did also in the first part of the mane. And when we finish, we are taking again the eraser pencil and we put again some white hair in top of what we draw already, and we also putting a little bit in front of everything. You know, the hair is also going over the ear, so we will also drawing that. And with this eraser we can just draw fine white lines on top of what we put dark for a really nice and smooth effect. And we will take again the paper tissue for a little bit blending, not too much. And then we will take the 8B pencil for darkening it up a little bit. So we're just darkening up the really dark highlights in the shadow of the mane. And like you are doing this, you can see you jump out the hair. So you will get the three-dimension view of what you want to create in your drawing. And then we are taking the 0.52B pen pencil And we will start with creating the front mane. And here we also a little bit create some shadow, because here you want to have to pop out the hair who is going behind the ear and a little bit in top of the ear. And we just create some more effect in the wild mane on top of the horse. And we take again the eraser pencil and we just add some more lines, some white lines. And we will also erase a little bit the hair who is in the top of the ear. Not too much, but the hair are also in front of the ear, so that's why we erase a little bit. And now we are taking an HB pencil and we start with the front mane. And it is exactly the same like we did on the other part of the mane. We just create some shadow. And this is an easy area because it isn't wild. You only have to check a little bit where it's going, and there you will draw the shadow. So just create the second layer here with a little bit light shadow with the HB pencil. And we also draw in top of the heads because the hairs are going everywhere there. So a little bit on top of the eye, a little bit on top of the head, just light, not too much, but just where you want it to be. And that's also for the realistic view, that it isn't straight. Hairs are going everywhere, so you also have to draw it a little bit like that. And then I will take the 0.5 2B again for darkening up the shadows. And now we are drawing a white horse, a gray white horse, so you will have not so dark mane, but with black mane, with brown mane or orange mane, with other color mane, it is officially the same, only then you will draw more dark, but you will just playing with the shadows to create realistic hair in the mane of a horse. And then we will take an 8B pencil for darkening up the dark area of the mane. the darkest area here for shadowing. And then we are almost finished. We only have to put some really last details in the hairs, and we put them all over. And I hope you learn a little bit of this tutorial. I wanna make some more free real-time tutorials. So if you like, you can also message me what kind of problems you are walking through and what kind of real-time tutorial you want to see. I am working most of the time with graphite pencils and pastel pencils, but I'm also using some colored pencils, some soft pencils, and some pastels. So you can just send me message and or react under this video to put on your problems while drawing, and maybe I will make my next free tutorial on your problem so I can help you. And of course, subscribe yourself on my YouTube channel. This full-time tutorial you can buy in my web shop. It's only in Dutch language available, so not in English. I'm sorry. The tutorials I will make also in English later, but not for this one. And then if you want, you can just subscribe yourself on my Patreon channel. Now we are taking again the eraser pencil, and we will add some white hair in front of the head and in the mane, just like we did everywhere. You just put on some white lines with your eraser to put on some white detail. So this full tutorial you can buy in my web shop. The link of the website you can find in my bio, and under this video. And it's only available in Dutch language, so not in English. I'm sorry for that. My other tutorials I have also in English. And also the time lapses you can see I have full-time real-time tutorials on a Patreon, so you can subscribe yourself also if you want on my Patreon page. For more info you can check my website or just go to Patreon and search for Melanie's Portretten. And we blend a little bit with the paper tissue, just a little bit to put away the hard lines of the eraser. And after that we will take an Faber Castell Polychromos black pencil to add some really black details in the mane. I am using this color pencil because of graphite isn't totally black. It's always a little bit shiny and a little bit gray. So if I want to create some more contrast and some more dark area, I am using black color pencils. This time the Faber Castell Polychromos black. And here I'm darkening up a little bit the background. It's officially not for this tutorial anymore. But I hope you like this tutorial. I hope you learned a lot from it. And what I mentioned a few minutes ago, I want to make more free short tutorials for my YouTube channel. So if you like it, just subscribe yourself on my YouTube channel, and you can check when my next free tutorial will be online. And if you want to draw this full portrait and you are a Dutch person, or you speak the Dutch language, then you can buy it for just 25 euros in my web shop. It's a full tutorial of almost 5 hours long. And of course, for other real-time tutorials, you can subscribe yourself on my Patreon channel. I hope you like this one, and thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe yourself on my YouTube channel.